Welcome back to Under Habs Daily News. Today I want to talk about how to build a playoff team in NHL. I'm going to compare all the teams are not in the playoffs versus a team are in the playoff, and then how the Montreal Canadiens need to do to become an NHL playoff team. Pack it up. It's going to be a little bit a longer video, and let's dive in talking about the subject of the day. First of all, this is the list of the 16 teams are not in the playoff for the 2024. You can see San Jose, Chicago, Anaheim, Columbus, Montreal, Utah, Arizona, Ottawa, Seattle, Calgary, New Jersey, Buffalo, Philadelphia, Minnesota, Pittsburgh, Detroit, and St. Louis. They are all the teams do not participate at 2024. Let's see why they are not in the playoff. First of all, if you look about all the teams are not in the playoff, they don't have a great goaltender. Most of them are average. Now, I want to mention to you, yes, always an exception. Yes, someone would tell me, yes, but coach, look, this team. I'm talking about in general. All the teams right now are not in the playoff because they don't have a great goaltender between the pipe. The second thing, the defensemen. Most of them does not have super elite defensemen or elite defensemen. Yes, Buffalo, Dallin, yes, Power. You can go with Sven team. They are developing the player, but they are not still yet a super elite defenseman. The third thing is about the forward. Most of them don't have a super elite players or generational players in their lineup. Yes, Chicago have better, but it's not there yet. So it's important compared for the team are in the playoff right now. If you compare both, the team are not in the playoff because they don't have a super elite forward. The next thing is the depth. The bottom six or the third pairing defensemen, they don't have great players to support the first two line in the lineup. Another reason behind that, it's most of them are rebuilding or they are retooling. And finally, most of them did not participate in the playoff. If you remove Pittsburgh, Calgary, Minnesota, and the Blues, the rest of the 12 other teams are barely make the playoff in the last 5 to 6 years. Now, let's talk about the playoff team in 2024. And I'm focusing more on the 8 teams are playing in the second round. Most of them have a super elite goaltender or an elite goaltender. Yes, you're going to tell me one or two of them does not have that kind of goaltender, but most of them have. Second thing, they have a super elite defenseman or an elite defenseman. If you look about New York Rangers, Adam Fox. If you go with Colorado, Ken McCarr. If you go with Dallas, Eskinen. Then the forward, most of them are super elite. McDavid, McKinnon, Panarin, very important to have at least a super elite forward inside of the lineup. Then those 8 teams have a lot of great bottom 6 forward inside the roster. If you look about Florida, if you look about Colorado, if you look about Dallas, this is the reason why they are right now in the second round in NHL Playoff 2024. Now, let's see how they build their team. My next thing I want to talk about is about the system of the playoff team 2024 second round. It's all about the speed, the physicality of the game. They have great player inside the roster, and then they battle very well. There are 4 areas of the game where those teams are better compared to the rest of the NHL team in 2024. Let's talk about the speed. Colorado, Edmonton, Florida. Those teams are really focusing on the speed. Then physicality of the game. Boston, Florida Panthers, and the Vancouver lead at this moment and the second round with the most hit in the playoff. Thirdly, the grits. What kind of team are a lot of grits inside the team? If you look about Colorado, yes, you think about McKinnon and Rantanen, Treinen, Colton, Duheim, Likonen bring on the table for the Colorado Avalanche. Vancouver, the bottom 6 are excellent with grits. I'm talking about Joshua. Then for the Dallas Star, what about Jimmy Benn? What about Marshman? two excellent players bring some grit for the team. We can put more team, but I try to stay inside of three different teams for each categories. And finally, my last one is about when you battle on the board. Florida are excellent to win the battle on the board, following by the New York Rangers and by the Canada Hurricanes. All those teams have a grit and they win the battle, have an excellent bottom six in the lineup, and the third pairing defensemen are great. My next category for the playoff team 2024, and I look about how they build their team, and I focus on three areas: draft, their trade, and their UFA or signature they did in the last couple of years to make that team better. Let's start with the Edmonton Oilers. 8 players and the roster, they are drafted by the team. 7 trade, and they sign 8 UFA. The Vancouver, 7 draft players, 8 trade with 8 signature. The Colorado, only 5 draft players, 9 trade, and 9 UFA inside of their team. The Dallas Stars, 11 draft players, 5 trade, and they have 7 signature UFA. Boston Bruins, 11 player draft inside the roster, 5 trade, and 7 signature. The Florida Panthers, only 3 players draft per the team. The rest are 8 trade and 12 signature or claim on the waiver from the NHL. Then we have the Carolina Hurricanes, 7 draft players, 6 trade and 10 signature. And finally, the last thing I want to talk about is the New York Rangers with 10 draft, 7 trade, and 6 signature. When you overview those teams, the Dallas Stars and the Boston Bruins are the best team to draft their players and how they develop their players. And then on the trade, what about the Colorado Avalanche? They are 9 trade inside of the roster for the NHL playoff 2024. And finally, the Florida Panthers with the general manager Bill Zito signed 12 UFA players with their team. Unbelievable what Florida accomplished. Overall, you can see they have a lot of teams at the same template with their trade and their UFA signature. Now, to complete that video, I look about the roster for the Montreal Canadiens, how they can build their team to become an NHL playoff team in the future. We just talk about how you can build those teams, the template, draft, trade, UFA, how you play with system, special team, the speed, the physicality, the grit, and also how you win your battle against the board. If you put this all together, I look about the roster Montreal Canadiens on the 2024-2025 and what it looked like when I consider the Montreal Canadiens could play in the second round and the NHL playoff. And I start, guys, with the goaltender Fowler. I feel he's going to be the only goaltender is going to be with the Montreal Canadiens in 2026-2027 roster. On the defenseman, only Rebecca, Jacky, Hudson, and Coley. Now, I can add another players behind that, maybe an Engstrom, maybe a Barron, or the Russian defenseman. Otherwise, they are my only 4 defensemen with the Montreal Canadiens. What about Mayu? He's going to be trade. Remember, to build a great team, you need to sacrifice some players, and I feel Mayu is going to be one of them. Following, guys, by the forward, the only players I believe on the roster in 2026-2027 are going to be Suzuki, Kirby Doc, Sakoski, Caulfield, Roy, Newhook, Kapanen, and Beck. The rest of all the forward they have, I'm talking about Farrell, Mezar, Riley Kidney, and Simono, and everything else. I don't see them with the Montreal Canadiens in 2026-2027. It's missing a couple of pieces of the puzzle, coach. You're absolutely right. So what I did, guys, I'm going to add 2 first-round picks. Montreal Canadiens are going to select this year and next year. This year is going to be the 5th overall pick. Could be Langstrom, Igelland, whatever who it is. He's going to be a part of the roster in 2026-2027. And then the following year in 2025 NHL draft, Montreal Canadiens are going to get that players on the top 10, I believe, is going to be a part of the roster in 2026, 2027. Then they're going to add 3 UFA with the Montreal Canadiens before the beginning of the season 2026, 2027. I don't expect too much this year, but 2025 and 2026, Ken Hughes is going to add a minimum of 3 UFA. Maybe goaltender, a defenseman, but at least 2 of them is going to be a forward with the Montreal Canadiens. Then he's going to accomplish at least 4 trades. And I'm talking about Anderson or Gallagher or Evans or Dvorak. I'm talking about important prospect for the Montreal Canadiens. Example, Mayu, Engstrom. 2 important players could be traded at some point, can give something back to the Montreal Canadiens. On the forward we have here, maybe Kapanen or Beck could be sacrificed to get another additional forward with the Montreal Canadiens. And I'm not sure about Cole Caulfield. I know you're going to tell me in the comments, Coach, what's going on with you? But to get something better, bigger, what the Montreal Canadiens are looking for, physical, grit. And when you battle against the board, I feel Caulfield could be another player, could be sacrificed to get something bigger for the Montreal Canadiens. Again, this is my crystal ball for the Montreal Canadiens to become an NHL playoff in 2026, 2027, and they could reach the second round. Many of them are going to be at the peak of their career, and they're going to be developed properly by Martin Saint-Louis and his coaching staff to become a good team in NHL, to going to be at 100 point in the standing, and they're going to be at that level to compete with the best top 8 team in NHL. This concludes how to build an NHL playoff team. Here we go. I know you're going to leave me a comments behind this. You're going to tell me, Coach, you cannot trade Coley, Mayu, Caulfield, or Kapanen, or Beck. The key behind that, to get something bigger and better, we need to sacrifice someone. At the end of the day, this is my crystal ball. This is my future for the Montreal Canadiens, the template they need to build to be sure we get a solid team in NHL. I would love to hear from you. Leave me a comments below this video. Tell me if I'm right, if I'm wrong, or tell me other suggestions. And I'm going to respect your opinion, and I'm going to sharing with you what I'm thinking from your suggestion. And that's conclude another Habs Daily News. Don't forget to subscribe, click on the like, and of course, leave me a comment. Remember, you have greatness inside of you, and we wish you an amazing, great, blessed day, everybody.